Does your child have an IEP? Then you've come to the right place. When they have special education services, then you're going to be sitting in a ton of different type of IEP meetings. But what are they and how do you prepare? Take a deep breath. I'm going to walk you through it. That's why inside this video, I'm taking you behind the scenes of amendment IEPs so you know what they are, how they're different, what to watch out for, and the 5 mistakes that you want to avoid so your child can get and keep the best IEP. Hey, what's up? I'm April Rarick, your special education advocate and school psych to make IEPs and 504 plans so much easier. If you're new here, go ahead and click on that subscribe button to get more videos like this in your inbox, and check us out on Instagram at Rise Ed Advocacy. Here's what you need to know. Individual education plans, sometimes known as programs, are regulated under IDEA law. The problem is, as parents, we're not given the instructions or directions, so we know what to ask for and how to get it. That's exactly why I'm so happy that you're watching this video. And yes, I've totally lost my voice. I know I sound absolutely awful. However, this is such an important topic. I could not miss out. And so please bear with me with my terrible voice. Make sure to keep watching this video until the very end because I'm going to give you a ton of tools and tips so you can advocate like a pro. Let's go ahead and get started. What is an IEP amendment? An amendment, also known as an addendum or a revision, simply put, is a change to your child's existing IEP without rewriting the entire document. Think of addendums like tuning up your car. It's great when there's small things or what's called non-substantive items, meaning your team is going to propose adding or adjusting a service or support or just a part of the IEP. What does this mean? This means that your child doesn't lose their existing IEP, and it means that their annual and triennial dates are all going to remain the same. This is because IEPs are not linear, and there's something called the special education cycle. What am I saying? I'm saying that once your child has special education services, you need to know where you are and where you need to go. And that's exactly why I want you to check out my first free guide that helps you navigate the process so you understand, oh, okay, I'm over here. This is where I need to be. Or, oh, no, this type of IEP is going to be coming up because special education can be so complicated. And my job is to let you know how we can make things so much easier. Grab that link in the description box below. So why do schools have amendments? They use them and you can request them too, pro tip, because they're faster. You shouldn't need to wait all the way until the annual IEP or even the triennial IEP just to get a change on your child's education plan. So now you know what is an amendment and why schools use them. Let's talk about when. Specifically, when are an amendment going to be used? Amendments are used if there's going to be a change in the typo or there's a mistake on the IEP, or if your team is talking about making an adjustment to specially designed instruction or supplementary aids and services or goals, or they're going to be doing a transition IEP or talking about extended school year, what's called ESY. There's a ton of reasons in a nutshell why teams have an amendment IEP. So amendments are great if you need to make small changes to your child's IEP, but you need to watch out for that they're done correctly. I'm going to talk about those mistakes in just a minute, so keep on watching this video. Speaking of mistakes, I want you to ask yourself this. Do you feel like you understand all the pages on your child's IEP? I can tell you from being a school psychologist and a mom and even an advocate, until I trained myself, it was so difficult to navigate how to read and write an IEP. And that's exactly why I want you to check out my playlist that has tons of videos that walks you through every single part of your child's IEP, so you know what to look for and what to watch out for, and you can advocate like a pro. Grab that link in the description box below. So here's something you may not know, pro tip. With IEP amendments, your team has the option to have a meeting or have no meeting. What am I saying? I'm saying that for amendments, they can just send the paperwork home as long as your team gives you written notification and you agree. So how do you know if you want to have a meeting? If you or your team asks for it. That's it. So when do you want to ask for no formal meeting? Usually I recommend for no formal meeting if it's a very small clerical error or a mistake. When do you want to ask for a formal meeting? If your team is going to talk about making bigger changes, like adjusting services, adding a behavior intervention plan, making changes on goals, changing the curriculum, anything bigger where you want to come to the meeting so you can meaningfully participate and contribute to IEP development. So you just found out that you have an IEP addendum coming up. What do you bring and how do you prepare? Make sure to check out my next free guide that shows you 5 things that you want to bring to every single meeting on meeting day. It's what I use with all my families, and it's a game changer. Make sure to grab it in the link in the description box below. Let's talk about consent, meaning your legal rights. So for an IEP amendment to go into effect, like I already said, they must send you the written notification, meaning all the parts of the IEP that have been changed. Many times they're also going to send you what's called prior written notice, also known as PWN or NORUP in some states. And this spells out the 7 reasons of what is being changed and why. Let's dig deeper when it comes to consent. Consent is required in every single state before your child is initially assessed for services, when they're found eligible for special education services, and before your school is able to offer the initial provision of special education services, meaning those services are going to start. However, after your child's first IEP, consent is going to look different. What am I saying? I'm saying that only 4 states require what's called dual consent. What states am I talking about? Massachusetts, Montana, Virginia, and California. What is dual consent? Dual consent is when you are required as parents to consent to every single IEP. What am I saying? I'm saying in all the other states, they can have an amendment IEP or an annual IEP, and you do not have to consent to the IEP in order for those services to start. This means that many states automatically implement the amendment IEPs unless you disagree or file for due process. So let me ask you something. Do you know your IEP safeguards? Do you feel like you understand fully and meaningfully how to participate at the table and your team has spelled them out? More than likely, probably not. And that's exactly why I want you to watch my video that spells out all your safeguards so you can feel like you can fully participate in the process and you know your rights, so you know what to ask for and how to get it. Grab that link in the description box below. Now you know what is an amendment, why schools do them, and more importantly, consent and the difference between having a formal and not a formal amendment meeting. This brings us to, what do you do if you want a full IEP? What am I saying? I'm saying, what if you don't want an amendment and you want an early annual IEP? Because yes, pro tip, under IDA law, you're able to request for a full meeting. So here are the 5 red flags when you want to stop and request an early annual IEP meeting. Number 1, when your team removes or substantially reduces services. Number 2, changing placement to a more or less restrictive setting. Number 3, changing your child's eligibility or exiting them or graduating them from special education. Just so you know, pro tip, you're not able to do any of these things unless your child is re-evaluated with a new special education assessment. Number 4, after an interim IEP, also known as a 30-day IEP, where your team is talking about substantially changing the placement, yep, an annual IEP is the way to go. And number 5, if you're confused or something feels off, always know that you have the right to request for a full IEP meeting at any time under IDA law. And this is exactly why you want my meeting request template. Inside my fillable guide, it walks you through step by step how to ask for an IEP meeting. So you can get drafts, so you can have your team talk about the goals, so you can get all the information to preview, and so that most of all, you can meaningfully participate without all the drama and stress. And best of all, it attaches to your child's educational record. Grab that link in the description box below. Now it's time to talk about mistakes, specifically those 5 things you want to avoid when it comes to IEP amendments. Number 1, not comparing the amendment to the original existing IEP. Number 2, assuming that amendment is less important than their current IEP. Number 3, and this is a big one, when your team doesn't spell out what they're doing, why they're meeting, and how they're changing the IEP. Number 4, saying yes to an amendment when you don't want one. And number 5, assuming that you don't have a choice. So here's the deal, pro tip. Nothing can change in your child's IEP unless you're given consent, and you always have options and you always have choices at the IEP table. That's exactly why I want you to check out my IEP meetings workshop. Inside my 1-day workshop, it guides you through all the parts of the IEP so you understand what the IEP looks like, how you can meaningfully participate, what your team is saying, all those acronyms, and so much more. It's time to pull up a seat at the IEP table so you can feel like you're fully trained just like everybody else on your team. Grab that link in the description box below. What do you say if you disagree with the IEP amendment? You don't say it, pro tip. You put it in writing. What do you write? I do not agree, or I do not consent to the IEP. What happens if you do not consent? It puts it in what's called stay put status, meaning your team cannot initiate the changes of the IEP until you and your school or your LEA resolve the disagreement. So here's something you may not know, pro tip. If you live in a state where you have dual consent, you cannot just not sign the IEP. What am I saying? I'm saying that if you choose not to sign the IEP, it is a huge problem. Why? Because if you don't sign it, it's not telling your team or your LEA what you disagree with and why. It just doesn't get signed. And then the longer and longer you wait for not telling your team what you disagree with and why, it just stays it open. So that means that your child is not going to be getting services. And I can't tell you as an advocate how many families I've seen where they don't sign the IEP for years and years. And it gets to be such a mess because the school doesn't know what they're working on, how they're working on it, and it becomes a complete disaster. So if you don't agree with the IEP or you don't agree with the amendment, you need to submit your disagreement in writing. This is why you need to watch my mistakes video next that lays out the 3 biggest mistakes of what you want to avoid and why, so that your child and you can get the best support at the IEP table. Grab that link in the description box below. So now you know what is an amendment, how it's different, and those 5 mistakes you want to avoid before every single meeting. Do you have a question? Put it in the link in the description box below. Do you want me to do more videos or expand on more what I've talked about? Put it there too. Like and subscribe to get more videos like this in your inbox, and check us out on Instagram at @Advocacy. Grab all those links so that you can get the tools and the resources and you can advocate like a pro. I'm April Rarig, your special education advocate and school psych. I can't wait to see you for our next video.